Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Well, welcome everyone. I am Katie Petrick and I am joined by David Fiorazzo. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Did anyone ever call you that, David Fiorazzo? Whoa.
Not with the whoa, whoa, whoa at the end. That sounds like a song, though.
Or I'm just announcing you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Could be that too. Could be either of them. Anyway, David's been busy today and he's got some matters on his mind.
Because worldview matters.
They do matter. It involves the entire world and the worldview matters. So David, what'd you talk about today?
Dr. Jake Jacobs.
Whoa, whoa.
Yes. We talked a lot about the history that a lot of people don't realize from world history, biblical history, and on Israel, the Middle East, talked about what's going on with the propaganda. It's just an amazing season that we're in, a time really in current history. But Jake Jacobs, great guest, feisty. Actually, we did 2 shows with him. We're going to do another one next week. But there you go. Please subscribe to worldviewmatters.tv, because the importance of what we talk about every day here on Educated comes down to a person's worldview. What do you believe about God, about life, about the world? Because everything you believe, whether there is a God or not, you will make your decisions based on your worldview, your beliefs, and then you'll act a certain way. And we're seeing a lack of biblical worldview today in the government schools, and that's what we get to talk about all day.
All right,
and the universities.
Oh, and the universities. Can't forget those. Hee hee hee. Well, quick reminder for all of you out there that you can catch Educated on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. Speaking of universities, Jordan Peterson. He's basically the most famous psychologist in the world right now. Like, easily.
Yep.
Like, can anyone name a psychologist? You can name, like, living psychologist. Yep, Jordan Peterson would be the one you named. And he's opening a new college that will actually cost pennies on the dollar. And students will earn actual bachelor's degrees, meaning they're going to learn something. And they're going to not have to pay tens of thousands of dollars. David.
Yes.
What?
This sounds interesting.
What?
One of the best things about this, one of the lines from the article, is the online school aims to teach students how to think devoid of ideology. Can you imagine that? Going back to a place in education, Katie, where it's devoid of ideology. Can you imagine?
Ooh, can
Yes, go.
Shameless plug. FreedomProject Academy.
Ooh.
Just as Jordan Peterson's going to do it at the college level, we're doing this at the K-12 level, where we are going to teach people how to think.
Yeah.
Not what to think. We've been doing it for over a decade. So thank you, Jordan Peterson, for we'll pass the baton on to you.
Yeah, so apparently this is launching really quick. I mean, any time now, at 95% lower cost. And of course, many of you know Dr. Jordan Peterson from some of the great videos he does out there, some of the great debates. But let's watch this video clip. We'll come back. We'll talk about it.
We thought, what if we could make getting a degree 95% less expensive? Because that's a pretty funny target. It's like, we're going to undercut you by 95% and offer a better quality experience along the way. Why wouldn't it be good to provide everybody, at least in principle, with access to the best lecturers? You know, you might think, why should you be generally educated? Because otherwise you're going to be a useless, resentful, bitter, pointless, counterproductive lump. And that's not a good strategy. So that's why you think. You think so that your stupid thoughts can die instead of you. If you get to the upper echelons of any hierarchy, you'll start encountering people who know a lot about almost everything. And so if you're stupid and you don't know anything about anything, they're just going to look at you and listen to you for like 2 seconds and think, well, I don't know where this clunk came from, but you know, he's not come along for the ride. You need to be enculturated so that you can play with sophisticated people and you can play a sophisticated and productive game, but also so that you've informed yourself with the greatest ideas of history so that whatever problem you're tackling, you're going to have tools to tackle it with. Once we get it well developed, you'll be able to take all these courses and then, you know, you won't be a complete embarrassment to yourself.
Yeah, this is great.
Straight to the heart.
I love it.
Straight to the heart.
I love it. I mean, they want to reduce the cost of a bachelor's degree to $4,000.
Yep, I'll take it.
Amazing.
Who wants to come along with me? I'll get another degree, one that actually matters.
He said he's got 30 professors on board so far, and he's been able to get stellar lecturers from all around the world. Katie, this is right up your alley.
I'm very excited. So Jordan is doing this with his daughter, Michaela, who you saw in the video as well. And their endeavor is something that we have needed for so long, because guess what? It doesn't take all these big university campuses with all the sports departments and, more importantly, the DEI, the DIE.
Yeah, you've got to have
all of the rigmarole. It doesn't take all of that.
A massive DEI department now
to educate.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's not how Harvard began. That's not how Cambridge, Oxford, all of these prestigious universities were built from something smaller, from just actually educating the students in front of you. And Dr. Peterson, over the past how many years now, has established himself not only as like a great psychologist, but he's a great professor. He's for those of you who don't know, he was a Canadian professor before Canada kicked him out of his home country.
Yeah,
because he spoke truth. So, so Peterson has established himself as a wonderful educator. If you've ever watched any of his online lectures, he knows how to engage the students, to teach them something, to get them to learn. Even just in that clip, he wasn't speaking all hoity-toity about everything. No, he hits you brass tacks. You don't want to be a useless lump out there. So how about we actually get a good education for once?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hopefully we're going to see more of this. More competition at every level, K through 12 and the university level. But you mentioned Harvard and some of the Ivy League schools. The way they started out, oh my goodness. I mean, they actually literally taught theology. They put out pastors, theologians from the earliest days. So what do you think they were teaching? What was the worldview of the universities, of the colleges in the early days in American history? It was a biblical worldview. They believed in truth, moral absolutes. They believed in one God, the creator of all things, and that we were male and female, and we still are, but that's not what's being taught today. Anyway, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and according to the program, they're going to have 2 or 3 8-hour sessions that will equate to 1 university credit. So typically degrees are like 36 credits. We'll see what each degree that he has, if it's just going to be a general degree overall. But it's kind of funny because Peterson is a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, yes.
If you listen to him and you have that wit about you. He said the school is actually pursuing accreditation, to be like, oh, we're accredited, so we're, come to ours, we're high quality. But he told his daughter that the employers will actually become the de facto accreditors. He said a degree from our university will signify high-level conscientiousness and general cognitive ability. I think we can just skip the accreditation process and go right to the employers, and that's what scares the universities more than anything. They are the middleman.
Yes.
That's all about getting the students money, and then we're going to turn them out to the employers, and the employers are the ones also helping these universities. So if you take that middleman out, what's the purpose of the university?
More of this, please.
Thank
you. Great story. From a promising college curriculum to one consisting of, ready? Magic and the occult. A new university program, not a joke, is set to be unveiled that will provide a master's degree in witchcraft. Sounds like a great addition to any resume, right? We'll talk about that next. It's real.
Well, we just had that holiday at the end of October that some people like to celebrate. And now you might as well celebrate with getting a whole degree in said witchcraft. Mm-hmm. Not wizardry, just witchcraft. Once you get your highly intellectual degree, though, maybe you're going to go to Jordan Peterson's university. And you're going to get such a high degree. It's going to be great. And then you're just going to throw it right away because you want to get a master's degree in witchcraft, magic, and occult science. Yes. Coming September 2024. That's next fall, people. That's just a school year away here. The University of Exeter in England is going to offer such a program. It's going to explore specific interests within the long and diverse history of esotericism, witchcraft, ritual magic, occult science, and related topics. And it will build interdisciplinary expertise. Ooh, what a advertisement, David. I know you're just raring to go, so hold on a second here.
Yeah, sure.
Students will study history, literature, philosophy, archaeology, sociology, psychology, drama, and religion
Of course.
to understand the role of magic on the West and East. David, do you want to chime in now, or do you want me to keep going?
Ho, 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 it's magic. All right. So, beginning of the story, first of all, this is no joke. I mean, it's been in the K through 12 curriculum, but you guys don't even realize it. How many kids go through school and there were Harry Potter curriculums? That's witchcraft. Okay.
Currently going through, people are, yes.
Yeah,
currently
K
still.
through 12.
They're still going.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, this was 5 years ago or less, I looked up the NEA curriculum. You could find teachers' studies or teachers, what do you call them, curriculum planning on witchcraft and Harry Potter. And that was actually some of the things that teachers were instructed or encouraged to teach in the classroom. So can you imagine doing that with Christianity? You're thinking, oh, that's not a religion, but it's very religious. Wicca is a 501c3. It's the Wiccan Church of the Interfaith Council or whatever they're called. But it's a nonprofit. So witchcraft is exempt, at least in America. So over here in England now, they're doing what a lot of people are doing. They're just not doing the credit here in America, but this new program on witchcraft. And what does it include?
Oh,
philosophy,
yes,
sociology, psychology, drama. What kind of religion are they going to put in? The role of magic on the East and West, that's according to The Guardian. But the professor said she's been seeing a surge in interest from students. In what? Getting a degree in witchcraft and
Yes.
magic and the occult?
Professor Emily Selov, we don't know. She's the director of this new program, and her exact quote is, "A recent surge in interest in magic and the occult inside and outside academia lies at the heart of the most urgent questions of our society." Do they?
Wow.
Do they? That's a great question. Now, here's something a little weird, David, when I
Yeah.
was reading this story. This new postgraduate program will be housed within the university's Institute of Arab and Islamic Studies. The placement will help students understand do they pronounce it Arabo, Islamic cultural heritage back where it belongs. It said, with decolonization, the exploration of alternative epistemologies, feminism, and anti-racism at the core of the program.
Decolonization.
Wow.
What do you suppose that's going to be about?
Wow. I hope I never get lost on that campus and stumble into the building that is housing all of that going on. Because that just seems like not a fun time,
Yep.
in my personal opinion.
Ritual magic, occult science, and related topics. So, I mean, rituals, this is demonic, friends. It is demonic. The spirit world is very real. And so what we're seeing here, people think, I don't know how she's teaching this, as it's an actual realm. There's demonic spirits and there are angels. There's the Holy Spirit and angelic spirits, but there's demons. They're calling on demons to do some of these rituals and to do some of the occult practices that they have to do. Child sacrifice is one of them. And it's interesting, you said, they're the colonizers, they're talking about Israel, right? And we've talked about this so much. Look at a map.
No, that's geography again. That's not one of the things they're studying.
If Israel is a colonizer, they are
geography.
the world's worst failures at colonizing in history. If Israel is a colonizer, I mean, just look at how much land they have. Anyway, but this is really concerning because what happens in the UK or in Europe doesn't stay in Europe. It's going to be here in America. It probably is. It's just not at maybe the level of a master's degree, right?
Precisely.
Oh, help us.
All right. Well, medical scholars now say that government and private insurers have no moral reason not to pay for a man to receive a uterus transplant in order to identify as a woman. This was actually discussed in a well-respected, maybe not so much, medical journal, and we're going to talk about it next.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Because we are so dumb as a society, this next story makes perfect sense. Scholars argue for uterus transplant coverage for biological males. As you see, that is the headline. Scholars argue for uterus transplant coverage for biological males. In a controversial, shall we say, article that came out back in June in the American Medical Association's Journal of Ethics, the authors argued that government and private insurers have no moral reason not to pay for uterus transplants for the biological males who are like, I'm a woman. So there's no moral reason that us as an insurer, yes, you should pay for them, is what they're saying. You should pay for them. We have a peer-reviewed paper. It was peer-reviewed by Timothy Murphy, who's a professor at the University of Illinois College of Medicine at Chicago, and Kelsey Mumford, a medical student at the University of Texas at Austin. And they came to the conclusion, after analyzing medical and bioethical questions regarding insurance coverage of uterus transplants, which are called UTX. Of course, a little X there, for trans women and trans men. So men and women who want to not be men and women, who want to be the opposite. And they wrote that even if there are limits on subsidies, the case could be made that no moral obstacle stands in the way of justifying subsidies for UTX for some trans women and trans men, just as there seems to be no fully persuasive argument against gestating a child via UTX. I love when they write gestating a child. Wow, that's totally how I referred to me being pregnant and then having a child. I was gestating a child. Anyway, now, as you can imagine, some sane people read this, and there was some backlash to the article. So then the American Medical Association was basically forced to respond in some manner. They had to release a fact check. I can imagine them doing this. A fact check. They stated it has no policy or advocacy positions on uterus transplantation, nor has it proposed taxpayer funding of such procedures. As they, like Homer Simpson style, back slowly away into the bush. We're not here. That's what the AMA is doing on this one. So, David, you have any thoughts about men wanting to get uteruses? I guess they want one uterus put in, but men in general, uteri?
Yeah. This is multifaceted, this subject, because, again, this is evil. We're calling evil good, and we're saying, okay, is it ethical? So let me ask you this. Let's just say before 15 years ago, would it be ethical, you think, to have a man attempt to get pregnant and have a baby?
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger did it in the movie Junior.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yeah, so it's Frankenstein science fiction, but this is where we're at. There are literal cases where a woman can be born without a uterus or without a womb. And now they've got the technology and the science, so to speak, to help that woman. There you go. You can do a uterus transplant. So, and women can now, perhaps after a year and a half, surgeries, follow-ups, and between $100,000 and $300,000. So the hospitals are making a lot of money off of this. That's the medical industry. That's the American Medical Association, the doctors. That's what they see. They see the dollar signs. So the question we have to ask is, because you can do something, does that mean we should do something and we should support something? And the American Medical Association even said taxpayers should help with this. So they're going, okay, taxpayers should fund uterus transplants for men. And there we go. How would a womb transplant for a man, that says trans woman, so how would you transplant a womb into a man? They've got it all figured out. They've actually been doing some of these. And this is where it gets unethical. This is where it gets to be something that is so not healthy for the person or society, but it costs a lot of money. So here we go. Let's see if we get insurance to pay for it. Where do you stop with this?
Right. And AMA, just to verify, backed away from putting out a policy position. They're just like, well, we're just publishing the author's conclusions. So they are kind of like, well, we're not saying good or bad, but are they? So I'll just, they said they're not proposing it. But here's the question. It still does. Can a man even carry a baby? David, can they? Regarding the feasibility of a biological male being implanted with a uterus and gestating a child, the authors, Murphy and Mumford, what a name, Murphy and Mumford, stated that it's possible. They wrote in a 2021 bioethics article that even though there has been no uterus transplant to date in trans women, so men, that we know of, some clinicians have maintained that there are no absolute barriers in anatomy, hormones, or obstetric considerations that would rule out the possibility of successful transplant in men. It says in trans women, but in men. Just no. No. Let women have our superpower. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
We have a superpower. Men, stop trying to take it. See, there's my feminism coming out. Look at that.
Yeah.
Superpower.
Agreed. It's where does this stop?
It doesn't. Can't stop, won't stop.
Katie, what would our great-grandparents think if they were alive today and they could see that this is actually a story, and you bring in the American Medical Association and they're talking about this, and they even considered it. I mean, in their June issue of their journal, it was called Patient-Centered Transgender Surgical Care.
Yes.
So I wrote an article about this. You want to look up some details and where this could lead? Because I talked about a doctor that's doing some Frankenstein surgery, California and Texas. Look up the article at harbingersdaily.com called Playing God. American Medical Association suggests taxpayer funding of transgender uterus transplants. And it's very in-depth and it's very evil what some are trying to do today. And they're taking advantage of mentally ill people, a lot of them. Yeah.
It's not a little light reading, but good reading nonetheless. Nope. All right, well, let's move on to a fun...
A happy story?
A happy story, maybe a fun-ish story. Now, many of us, have seen one of the greatest holiday movies. Christmas is celebrated during
It's a Wonderful Life?
No,
one
not
of the greatest?
that one. Our producer believes Home Alone 2 apparently is one of the greatest movies ever. I disagree. But anyway, fans of that holiday flick can live out one particularly memorable scene in real life. We're going to head to the Big Apple for a little Christmas cheer when we get back.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Mr. McAllister, here's your very own cheese pizza.
Take a look at 5 and 10, glistening once again, with candy canes and silver lanes aglow. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Toys in every store. But the prettiest sight to see is the holly that will be
Hello?
on your own.
Hello? Know any good toy stores?
Yes, sir.
This is a vacation.
2 scoops, sir?
2, make it 3. I'm not driving.
It's gardenias, Johnny. Your favorite.
Okay, so if you hadn't noticed what was going on there, that was from the second Home Alone. And someone in New York is now offering fans of the Christmas comedy the opportunity to live the motion picture's plot in real time, get lost in New York, Kevin McAllister style. So it begins, this is Manhattan Landmark Plaza Hotel. That's where he stayed, or that's where it was filmed, right? And it's about the experience based on the 1992 Part 2, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. So you can have the ice cream, you can have the pizza. I like that, walking out to the limo, Katie.
Ooh.
Getting that New York cheese pizza.
I mean,
it's
yeah.
funny. He put the Coke in the champagne glass.
Yeah, of course, yes.
That's funny. Anyway, so you can go to all the famous locations: the Empire State Building, the Rockefeller Center, Central Park, Carnegie Hall, Radio City Music Hall. So let's skip ahead to the price of this, and I'm wondering, I want to get your take on overall the story and the price of the experience. In addition to the lodging, it starts at $3,195 with rates varying depending on the room type. And you can, the rates can range slightly under $1,000 to over $32,000 for the 2,500 square foot 2-bedroom grand penthouse suite with a terrace. Katie?
Save your pennies, people. That's ridiculous. Too expensive.
Hey, I would spend that to go to Bedford Falls. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe it's because I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, I like Home Alone 1 and 2. They're all right. They missed an opportunity to have the Donald Trump cameo in there in Part 2. I mean, that people would pay that $30,000 for. I hope that pizza is the best pizza of your life, because it certainly will be the most expensive pizza. I'll tell you that much. I was disappointed, though, that the fact that the limo ride, they, in very fine print, wrote that it's not a guided tour. So it's kind of like, you're getting carted off to these places, but they're not going to, tell you anything about it or, help you out when you get there.
They're taking you to A to B.
You can, take pictures for 10 minutes, turn around, and come back. I'm not quite sure. The large cheese pizza, that they can't even spring for some sausage or pepperoni on there.
But look at the Home Alone sundae.
Oh, of
16 scoops of assorted ice cream, whipped cream, cherries, M&Ms, brownie bits, chocolate, caramel, and raspberry sauce. That's what he had apparently when he was in the room there with the room service, the big, massive ice cream cart.
Yeah.
I guess that's what he had.
And the tummy ache is free of charge. Enjoy. Maybe you'll get to see a lot of that bathroom. Who knows? Depends on how your tummy does with lactose.
That's a lot of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
Even for ice cream lovers.
Yes.
I love ice cream, but
I bet you do. So does the president. You guys can hang out and eat your ice cream together then.
Which president?
Of the United States.
Oh, Trump?
No.
The guy.
Currently, the one who's in office right now.
What
do you think? Everyone, let us know your thoughts on this. Or, better yet, let us know what kind of experience you would want for a different movie. What's your favorite movie that, yes, you'd be willing to pay money for? I'm more interested in that.
It's a Wonderful Life. There's so many opportunities there to pay to see different scenes. And
there we go. You can start your own thing and not charge people so much. All right. Well, hey, if you're a fan of the show, please, if you could, comment, share, subscribe. Do all the things. Thank you. Also, if you're a fan of the video platform Rumble, please follow our new channel at rumble.com/FreedomProject. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.